Welcome back to Learn from the Pros. This lesson is going to be about a spectacular victory in the King's Indian defense. And if you hear the name of this opening and attacking chess, the player you should definitely think of is Hikaru Nakamura. The American #1 is playing with the black pieces in this position, of course, and he went for the typical pawn storm against White's king with h4. After f takes g4, he didn't even want to recapture this pawn, since bishop takes g4 would lead to several exchanges, and when you want to attack you need to keep as many pieces as possible on the board, so bishop takes g4 is not something you want to consider, but you should keep the initiative, you should keep on attacking, and f3 is what Nakamura played, a very strong move. Now he's 2 pawns down. He could take this rook on c1 because f3 was actually a discover attack, but this wasn't the point of f3. If you capture the rook, that would mean that White has a piece and 2 pawns for the rook, and right now his pieces are pretty active, while Black gave up this nice bishop, the dark square bishop, which could have attacked, and you will soon see how. So in this very moment, this bishop is much more important to Nakamura than a rook. He doesn't want to give this bishop up. He will keep this bishop, it will be one of the most important pieces in his attack, while the c1 rook is not doing anything, so we don't need that piece, you shouldn't capture it. So what was the point of g4 and f3? Well, he sacrificed 2 pawns and he will keep on sacrificing, because what he really would like to achieve is to open the f-file. He has got his rook there, he's got the queen there. We want to open this file, so let's open it. Knight takes e4, a knight sacrifice. If White captures the knight, then rook f1, another sacrifice. This rook cannot be captured because queen f1 is a mate. King g2 has to be played, and now I told you that that bishop will be very powerful, a very important piece. Bishop e3, now the threat is h3 check. So if, for instance, bishop takes f1, Black will just play h3, king g3, queen takes f1, threatening mate in 2 with bishop f4, knight takes f4, e takes f4, pawn mate. And if White plays something like bishop f2 to give space for the king on f3, then the connection between the queen and the g2 square is already cut, and queen g2 is a mate as well, so it's either a mate with bishop f4, e takes, or queen g2. Look at this position, it's just a rook down for Black, but very strong attacking pieces. There's no defense against the mate. So this knight cannot be captured on e4, knight takes e4, a really nice move. And also the problem is that White doesn't have any counterplay. He cannot do anything on the queen side, it would be too slow. And all his pieces are on the queen side. Look at the rooks, look at the queen, look at the knight on a3. They are all based on a plan that at some point he would attack on the queen side, but right now what he would need is a lot of defending pieces on the king side, and that's what he doesn't have. He only has there a few pieces like the bishops and this d3 knight. Also, he cannot exchange pieces. That's another problem, because when you're defending, you want to exchange pieces. When you attack, you don't want to exchange pieces unless it's an important defending piece. So he cannot exchange the bishop with bishop d2 because the knight is there as well. He cannot really do anything in this position, and that's the biggest problem. He moved the rook away from the diagonal, but after another sacrifice, rook takes f3, he could almost resign because he doesn't have anything. If he captures the rook, bishop takes f3, then queen takes check, and after king g1, a very important move is h3, preparing bishop e3 check, and no matter with what you cover against that check, it will be mate on g2. So bishop e3, let's say bishop f2, and queen g2 will be mate. And if after queen takes f3, White plays queen g2, the move is simply bishop takes g4, and Black will regain material and win the game as well. It's impossible to keep everything protected. The rook is hanging, the knight is hanging, and if you exchange queens, that's something you would really love to do when you are about to be mated, but in this position it doesn't help because now it's just a piece up for Black. That's why after rook takes f3, the rook cannot be captured. But what about rook takes d7? This bishop is hanging too. What about this move? Well, now once again the same sacrifice that you already know. Rook f1 check, it cannot be captured. King g2, and here the same motive. Bishop b3, what a powerful bishop. Look at black's pieces. The rook, the queen, the two knights, the bishop on e3, and this pawn on h4 is also very useful. And at the same time, white has almost no defending pieces. Most of his pieces are on the queen side, not doing anything about black's attack. And here, white will be mated no matter what. I just want to show you a few examples. For instance, if this rook is captured, bishop takes f1, then we already know that h3 is the move. And after king takes, here knight g5, king g2, queen f3 is a beautiful mate. What about a simple move like bishop b4? So your idea is that you threaten rook takes f1. Now h3 again, king takes, queen h6, king g2, and knight f4. You don't care that this rook can be captured, king takes f1, because another sacrifice comes, knight g3 check, opening the h file, and queen h1 is a mate. Here black is a rook and two pieces down, but it doesn't matter because this is a mate. His pieces, it's enough to have three very good attacking pieces. If it's mate, it doesn't matter how many pieces you had to sacrifice for it. Just look how white king did not ever manage to escape, to hide. All the other white pieces are not helping at all. It doesn't matter that he's got his whole army on the board. So after bishop e3, what happened in the game was bishop g3, but this doesn't help either, because after h takes g3, the point is not only that we capture this bishop, but we free the square for the knight on h4. So after rook takes f1, knight h4 check, king h3, queen h6, threatening a very annoying discover check with knight f5. White tried to give some space to his king with g5, but after knight takes g5, king g4, knight hf3. Now if this knight is captured, then queen h3 is mate. So he played knight f2, covering the h3 square, but it still doesn't help. Now the last piece joins the attack. The rook was not doing anything on a8, and right now all the black pieces are attacking, and white is gonna be mated. After king g6, rook f6 check, giving up the rook, but the point is that everything comes with a check. White has no escape, white has no time to breathe. After king takes f6, knight e4 check, a discovered check, and king g6, queen g5 mate. Wow. I love this game because Hikaru kept the initiative going all the time. He played h4, f3, knight e4, rook takes f3. All those moves were very powerful moves, always threatening something, always keeping the initiative in his hand, never letting the opponent have time for reorganizing his pieces, for coming back with his pieces to defend the king. That's very important when you attack, that you don't give time to your opponent to defend. You should play very powerful moves, captures, threats, checks, everything that keeps the initiative going, and then your attack will be successful. You should definitely check out a lot more other games by Hikaru. Very nice, aggressive attacking chess. Hope you enjoyed this game and see you in another clip. Bye bye.